Welcome to the Back 9 Six-Pack with Mitch and Justin. Let's roll.
Hello and welcome to episode 103 of the Back 9 Six-Pack. My name is Mitch, joined as always by my esteemed colleague Justin. You're representing Kentucky golf right now, I see.
Yeah. I just realized that. I got the Barbasol and Valhalla on. It's like, covering both major cities in Kentucky, by the way. One's in Lexington and one's in Louisville. So,
RIP to the Barbasol.
Yeah, gosh, what a great tournament. We had fun that day. I don't know. I'm sad it's gone.
Yeah, I mean they still play it, but it's new sponsor. But
yeah,
the
it's called last year was like called the Kentucky Classic or something like that. I don't even know if it had a headline sponsor actually.
It did. It was like the ISCO or something, which I think is like
that's right.
Some kind of IT something or other. Anyway, I saw that and I had to call that out at the beginning. Keeping it hyper local, it is officially Flying Pig Week. That means I'm running on Sunday.
Yeah, well, I kind of gave you some crap.
I know, so I wanted to talk about this. So
yeah, we might need to hash this out. I've got a neighbor who is running the Fool.
Running the Fool.
And my wife ran over his foot on Friday night. So I think he's good. Every time he sees her, though, in the neighborhood, I've seen him start limping. So shout out to Seth for really rubbing it in her face that he got his foot ran over. But look, if he's running the Fool on a hurt foot, I mean, what are we doing here with the half?
Man, I'm so grateful that I'm only running the half. I can't even fathom running a full marathon under most circumstances, let alone the ones that I've been dealing with.
Yeah, I look, and I know everybody said, "Oh, the first half is physical, the second half is mental." That is crap. I'm just gonna give it to everybody straight here. That is not true, and that's coming from someone that's never run a half or a full. So
yeah. I mean, look, I don't know. I can't speak to the full, but the half. I don't know. I think any distance that you're running, right? Like when you start, if you're not like a legitimate, like, okay, I'm a runner, which I would not consider myself as. Every time I go out there to run, it's like, God damn, I got this many miles left. You're always counting down. It's always a battle from go.
It's a natural thing to do, I think.
Yeah, it's a natural battle from go. For me, this training, it all started off on the wrong foot with the appendix. That goes down. Then it's been the shit weather. I've been like finding all these different along the way and little bumps and bruises and things that are bothering me that didn't bother me last time. Like this time I'm dealing with shin splints. I didn't have that problem last time. So I'm like, I got compression like sleeves on. I got knee braces. I'm taking like tart cherry extract supplements. I'm like throwing everything in my body I can right now just to get through Sunday. That's truly where we're at.
This is just a sad state of affairs for us because I just played with some 23-year-olds and I was kidding. I was like, I had to Theragun my whole body this morning to get ready to play this round of golf. And he laughed. And I was like, no, dude, like I set my alarm 50 minutes earlier than I had to give up because I knew how sore I was. And I went down and like worked my legs with a Theragun for a solid 45 minutes. And I looked at him. I just was like, this is 12 years from now, by the way. Like we're not talking 20 or 25. This is 12, 13 years from where you are right now. And I always thought where I was when I was your age that it would never happen to me, and it's happening. So,
it's a little glimpse into the future for them. But I got these. I had to get this. What are they? Like hot and cold compresses for something else I'm kind of dealing with from another thing. But I've ended up using them on my calves before I go on my long runs. Like I heat them up in the microwave and just like put the warm like compresses on my calves. Like that's truly it's just like you and the Theragun. Like it almost takes me longer to get ready for the run than it does to do some of the run. That's where I'm at. It's not great.
I'm sad for us. I just want you to know that.
It's way too young to be feeling this old. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. I mean, I it's funny. They asked me like, how old are you? I was like 35 going on 60. Like that's where my body's at right now. It's what's funny is like physically I feel the probably close to the best physically and strength wise as I've ever probably felt in mine. I might be stronger now than I ever have been in my entire life. However, I'm starting to learn like pure strength doesn't equate to like less injuries and less soreness and things like that. So
Yeah.
lesson learned.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I haven't played that much golf, but like golf fitness wise and stuff, I feel about as good as I have. But like, if you tell me to go out there and run right now, it's like, I'm either going to, Saturday's a perfect example. Ran 8 miles, last mile, fastest mile I've run this whole time. I go out today, got to do 6. I'm like barely, like I'm above race pace essentially. So it's a crapshoot how I'm going to feel when I go out there.
Yeah.
I'm at the point of keep the legs moving and finish the race, and we'll see where we're at the end of it.
Yeah. Well, good luck this weekend. I was giving you crap, but I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for you just to beat the last one.
Yeah. That's what my goal's been. I'm trying to beat the last one.
Yep.
Training's been a lot more rough this time than it was then. 2 years on the body, I guess, is taking its toll.
Dude, 2 years after 30 is like 6 in real years.
Yeah. So there's that. Also, shout out to Gunth. He's running it too, like straight off the bench into the half marathon.
When did this happen?
A couple weeks ago, he texted me. He was like, "Hey, you think I could do this?" He's like, "I've been working out and doing cardio since December or whatever." And I was like, "Can you?"
That's not going to end well. I appreciate the athlete that he is. I fear for him.
I don't know. I'm feeling good for him. He sent me some screenshots of his runs along the way, and for somebody that wasn't doing like a 12-week program, he's hanging tough. So I respect it. I just I warned him. I was like, you can finish it. You'll be able to finish it. But if you try to push for a time or something, that's when you might get hurt. So you just need to set your expectations right. And then double shout out to Tyler in Tampa, who is now in Cincy. He's been training this whole time with me as well. He ran with me last time. Last time I took him out, he was battling shin splints. I have a feeling he's going to beat my ass this time. So we'll see how that shakes out on Sunday. But, it is what it is. Oh, man. All right. Well, smash that like button if you're here. Please subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back96Pack. Fan mail link always down in the show description. We've got one of those to get to later in the show. Tommy Turndogs is on an absolute heater on the fan mail. He's almost abusing it at this point.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you get 2 hole-in-ones in your life, and you just had a birthday this past week. So shout out to him for his birthday. But that's what happens.
Is it his year? Is that the 2025 the year of Tommy Turndogs?
It might. Look, I fear for everybody that gets in his way. I think it might be his year.
All right, just runaway freight train. Oh man! All right, before we get to all that though, got to talk a little draft. I'll start because I came on the show last week and I said there's one person I do not want the Bengals to draft, and sure enough, they drafted that person. It's not personal. I want to say it's not personal. Shamar Stewart still could be a great player. My whole thing has been against the Bengals philosophy of like, they're going to draft traits, they're going to draft measurables, they're going to try to get a value when they're picking in the mid-teens. They think it's a guy who should have been top 5 instead of just like drafting guys that they know can play. And that philosophy has bit them, and it's hurt me as a fan, and I fear that they're falling into that trap again. But I want him to prove me wrong. He's watching his interviews, seems like a great dude, an absolute just like behemoth and freak athlete. But I just need to translate to the field. And that's all I'm asking for here.
Yeah, well, and I think I think the biggest thing with him is it's not a Shamar Stewart thing, right? I don't think no one has anything. Like Bengals fans probably just heard of him a week ago when they were like, all right, who are we taking in the draft? That's probably the first time they heard his name. It's a Bengals thing, right? The problem with taking people with potential when you've never proven to actually get someone to approve and develop that's the problem people have with that pick. Now, if they were like proven developers, like a Baltimore, really like 2 of the teams in their division, right, have proven that they develop guys. Like I don't think anybody has a problem with that pick, but it's the fact of the matter of like they just took a guy in the same position like 2 years ago that has developed into nothing.
Yeah.
He's not even seeing the field. That's where it's like, that's where people are mad. Like, I think if they take someone like that in like the third or fourth round, no one even realizes it, right? But it's like the fact that you're using your first round pick and you can't develop, you've not shown any signs of developing somebody. That's what I think people have a problem with.
Yeah, and the other tough part about it, like if you look at their 2nd through 6th round picks, they're like all guys that are like production on the field guys. Like it doesn't fit this philosophy of like, oh, we're going to draft this projectable talent or whatever. They took guys that went out and produced and were like, seemed like safe picks. So I don't understand like what, if there's an overall philosophy, if they just take these shots in the first round, like, well, I don't know what they're doing. It's just not consistent. That's the thing that bugs me. And they've honestly, like if you, outside of lucking into Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, where it's like you're picking in the top 5 and you're probably not going to miss, they just haven't done anything in the first round. So
yeah,
that's what scares me. Again, hope he proves me wrong. I do want to take a moment to, a little behind the scenes. Like I was down at the PFF studios watching along with all my fellow PFFers, and there's a mixed bag of people from around the country, but there's a lot of Cincinnati influence in the room too. So I had other fellow Bengals fans in the room. The stretch of picks, or what happened within like a 20-minute window when the Cardinals were on the clock to when the Bengals drafted Shamar Stewart. I just have to let you guys know about this. Almost the entire room of us had either a bet for the Cardinals to select Will Johnson or just them to take a cornerback at all, which was like a very commonly mocked position to them. They need secondary help, all that stuff. So they don't do that. They take Walter Nolan off the board, which all the Bengals fans in the room were like, oh my God, no. So we lose our bet. Then the Bengals turn around and pick the one guy that everyone in the room did not want to draft. It was just like Bengals fans on the ground, like for 15 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of coping going on.
Oh.
It was bad. Look, it's hard to get past the stat that the guy, look, everybody says it's like you see him, you're like, this dude's a football player. Like he is, like if you build a football player in a factory like that, this is the guy that you would build, right? But like, how does that guy have 4.5 sacks in 4 years of college football is beyond me. I think I brought up the whole Jack Sawyer thing of like, he kind of had a slow start to his career, and people wanted to run him out of town. And he had like 13 sacks in 2 seasons. It's like, people were like, that's not good enough. This guy had 4.5 and he's going in the first round, and then I heard people like, well, they're getting him to chase down Lamar. I'm like, dude, he's only tackled a quarterback like 5 times, like in the last 4 years. Like, what are we talking? And you're going to bring down the most elusive quarterback in the NFL? I highly doubt that. Just going out on a limb here.
The good news is that Lou is not around to drop him into coverage, so that should be helpful.
Yeah. Instead of that's probably the best thing. Yeah, that he's not going to be in coverage. So
yeah, I will say, just for my fellow Bengals fans out there that did not see the stat, the last edge player drafted in the first round that had the same level of pass rush score or grade in their final season in college was Miles Murphy. So we don't want that to happen. So I'm just forewarning everybody out there that like you can cope and everything, but this is in the realm of outcomes here.
Yeah, well, I know it's probably more probable that this happens again than it goes the opposite direction. So
yeah, I don't know, but I will say, just final note on the Bengals. Like I do think they didn't get a high draft grade from a lot of places, a lot of like B minuses, C plus kind of stuff. I do think throughout the rest of the draft, they wouldn't have been the guys that I picked necessarily, but they definitely picked to sort of build out the roster more. Like they've got the guard from Georgia, like probably not a 3rd round pick, but like dude gave a 1 sack in his career, played at Georgia. Like that's a guy that he's not going to be worse than Cordell Volson. I'm not saying he's going to start day one, but that's a guy that's probably going to be on your team for the next 5 years and can play.
Yeah, well, it's something like this is what I hate about the combine is it starts giving guys numbers that it's like, okay, this is not a football game, right? So it's giving you non-football game numbers. Well, the problem with that is you have a guy that's like, that we're going to talk about with the Packers, where it's like, yeah, his numbers not great, right? Like as far as like doing a combine and things like that. But, I think giving up one sack in your entire career in college, that should matter at some point, right? Like, and it obviously should matter to me more than the combine. Obviously evaluate the talent they're playing against, but if they're like at a small Division III school, maybe that's different. But if you're playing Division I football and you're giving up one sack, at some point that's got to matter, right? You might not have the numbers on paper, but you're clearly a good football player, and I think teams overthink that sometimes when you get the combine stuff involved.
Oh yeah, 100%. It's like a mass. It's so weird because you have 2-3 years of tape on these guys, and then one like day in February.
Well, I didn't run a good shuttle run, right? Like, who gives a shit? Like, I don't know. It's always crazy when I think about that.
Yeah, I think it's probably overvalued. It's just like a good baseline check, right? That's really all you need it for.
Yeah,
but usually the guys that steam at the combine are the ones you don't want to be having your team draft.
I mean, yeah, I don't. There's a lot of examples out there of guys that are like, kind of maybe third, fourth round grades, and they go to the combine, they, run a 4.25 40, or, they bench press, they almost break the bench press record. And it's like, next thing you know, they're like getting second and first round grades. You're like, I don't know. It's kind of crazy. It kind of blows my mind sometimes.
Yeah. All right. Well, on to your Packers. You took a wide receiver the first time in 22 years in the first round.
It felt good. It did. I'm not going to lie. There was a couple Packers riders that were not crazy about the pick. I think that, you can, with an organization like the Packers, you can kind of always, it's not what they're trying to do this year, it's what they're trying to do next year. And they've always kind of drafted that way. So they, I think this pick is, hey, yeah, is he going to be on the field a ton this year? Probably not. Same with the other one. They took two wide receivers. But they know they're going to lose some guys in that room next year. And, to not just throw a rookie to the fire and be like, hey, we need you to be our one guy right out the bat. I think it's going to give them some time. But I love the pick. I did. I mean, it's exactly kind of what they thought they were going to get with Christian Watson. I mean, he's not the same size, obviously. Don't get me wrong. Like, he's a smaller slot guy, but it kind of gives them another option of speed, for Matt LaFleur to kind of work with. And then, my favorite pick by them was the guy they took out of Texas, Barron Sorrell, who, I remember, I didn't watch a ton of Texas games, but I remember him in the Ohio State game. I'm like, dude, no one can block this guy. Like, you know what I mean? But again, it's like, it goes back to like on paper, like he's a little undersized, right? And it's kind of one of those things, but it's like, you look at his play on the field and it's like, realistically, he probably should have been in the second, in the first, second, maybe, rounds. And, he slips down to the fourth round and they get him in the fourth round, which, like, he was my favorite out of all their draft picks. He was my favorite pick that they had this weekend.
Yeah, no, it's I'm with you on the Packers they do this all the time. You're right. It's like, okay, they're basically drafting him so they don't force themselves to have to pay Christian Watson next year or whatever, right? It's like,
yep.
You're developing that pipeline. You're giving yourself versatility and options in that room.
Yeah, and a lot of times their drafts are telling because, I think everybody was like, well, they want to move off of Jair, and maybe they don't feel like they have the talent in the room right now. They got some young guys in there. But I think the fact that they took their first defensive back in the 7th round kind of tells you the direction they're moving in. They might not move off of Jair, or maybe they really love the talent they have in the room, and maybe they sign a guy just to have a little bit of depth. But you can always, there's certain teams that you can read into, and that's where it's like where the Bengals is kind of feels like it's all over the place. There's a lot of teams that it's like they come in with a game plan and they kind of stick to that game plan. And I think that's kind of what the Packers did. I think once you knew they took a wide receiver in the first round, they're like, all right, they're probably not going to go defensive back, and maybe they like who they have. I didn't think they'd take a second wide receiver, but I knew there was going to be some defensive guys in there. But like I said, Barron Sorrell was my favorite one of their picks. I think they got a lot of value getting him in the fourth round. So
yeah,
and again, you can be proven wrong. I think SVP said it perfectly this week, and he was like, when he first kind of started doing Sports Center and stuff, like, are we going to do draft grades this week? He's like, no. Like, we're not doing draft grades the minute after the draft. We don't know how these guys are going to play out. Like, so it's. I think that says it perfectly. It's like, you got to give it at least a couple years before it's like you can really go back and go, oh man, they really whiffed on some guys that were, oh god, they really hit some home runs. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, I do think that it's worthwhile to just kind of like, it's almost like you're grading the way that they drafted. Like,
yeah,
kind of like, did you get value or not, kind of thing.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously you're not going to know the full result until these guys get on the field and have
for sure.
Career.
Yeah, for sure.
I do want just real quick on the Bengals too. I was so like, at first I was out on Demetrius Knight and being picked in the second round. I was like, we're taking a 25-year-old linebacker. And I was like, what are we doing? But the more that I've seen from him, like, that dude is just a dog. Like, I'm so in.
Of all their picks, that's the one I had the least problem with. I really did.
That guy comes downhill and just hits people. And hearing him talk about, he's got a young family and a wife and stuff. When he was at Charlotte before he transferred to South Carolina, he was like driving Uber Eats and stuff to try to support the family. Like,
yeah, he's a hustler. Just
seems like a good dude, good locker room presence. Hopefully that, downhill kind of play translates to the field. So,
yep.
All right. Okay. This is a good thing we did this tonight instead of Thursday night after. I've had time to, like you said, cope and think through some things.
You had some time to cope. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, a little coping time, a little like cool down period. So anyway, we are on to our golf, and the league season is here. We start next week.
Yeah, it's close.
Praise the Lord.
I did sub in a league on Thursday this past week. Right. Some nasty weather. But it felt good to be like I don't know, just like playing in a league night. You can definitely see the light at the end of the tunnel. It's only going to get better and pretty soon as far as like weather and light and things like that. So
yeah, I'm
looking forward to our league starting next week.
So am I. It's just it feels like so long since we've just seen everybody. Like, just because the way the season or the off season's been.
Yeah, I know. I still I've been up there more over the last week and a half than I have the prior 2 months, and you're seeing people and you're like, God, this is the first time I've seen this guy since like November. Yeah, it's like, hey, how's your winter? It's like, it sucked like everybody else's. So yeah, it's nice. It'll be nice to really get out there and get everybody in one place again and see everybody. So
yeah. All right, well, speaking of that, you've played a few times here recently. How's the game rounding into shape?
So Thursday in the league, I didn't do anything fancy. One bogey, one birdie, shot even par. Not making like a ton of big mistakes. So I played pretty good there. I randomly didn't think I was going to be able to play yesterday. And got a text and we had some stuff get canceled. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going. I walked and carried my bag. No push cart.
You're practicing for the round you have to caddy for me. Good.
Yeah, that and I'm really trying to get my sea legs under me since we're coming into less than 3 weeks from going to Scotland here. So but yeah, played okay. I mean, again, like, it was funny. Guy I played with, never played with him before. He was just like, I was kind of all over the place off the tee, and he's just like, would you shoot again? I was like 74. He's like, dude, like, you were never in the fairway. Half the time you're like behind trees, you're hitting punch shots. I'm just finding ways to like not make big numbers and then like squeeze in a few birdies and it's not fancy, that's for sure. Like, nothing is like shining. Just kind of finding a way to get the ball around the golf course is kind of what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, smooth little 74 without the driver. That's that'll do.
Yeah, And then today played with our exalted ruler. Played in a tournament, scramble format. We made so many putts. I mean, I think we figured it out. It was like about 175 feet of putts, just to shoot 500. Because some of those were par putts. We led the tournament in scrambling without a doubt. I mean, we scrambling. We were like 6 for 6, and one of them was a chip in. So we were 1 under while scrambling. Just impressive stuff from me and Jared. So.
That's what happens when you play with the exalted ruler. You get the pure roll out there,
Oh gosh, yeah. I'll tell you, I'll give the guy credit. He can read a green. I mean, he didn't miss many reads, and those greens where we played weren't tough, but they're not tough. But it's something to be like, he's hitting lines or giving lines, and it's like, damn, that's pretty much spot on. Like, and he didn't miss. I don't think he missed any reads today. So.
Yeah. You also mentioned, didn't you almost make an ace finally?
Oh yeah. Yeah. On Thursday, that league I subbed in, 210, just hit I didn't hit it like perfect, but it was like just good enough. And the pin was kind of down in a valley. Yeah. So I hit it up on the hill on the left of the pin, and it just starts tracking towards the hole. Looked like it blipped a little bit, and I've almost fainted. Hit it to like 4 feet, missed the putt. I was so shaken by the fact that it didn't go in the hole. I just was going to take my cozy bar and move on to the next. So yeah, it came close. It looked at it like hard look. Probably the closest I've come in a little bit, for sure.
Jeez, man, that'd be
beat an 85-year-old guy closest to the pin. I felt a little bad about that, actually.
I mean, especially since you missed the putt. Yeah, you probably could have refused yourself. Yeah.
Well, I did ask him. I was like, "Did you make your putt?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I made birdie." I'm like, he's like, "So did you, right?" And I'm like, No, I missed that putt. It all went to waste. I just wanted the $25 closest to the pin. So.
Yeah. And sometimes it's all that matters,
Yeah.
What? So you said you're about 3 weeks out to Scotland. Any major updates? Anything else you're looking forward to? Plans solidified?
I'm going to be looking forward to not talking about it and actually experience it. I'm telling you, that's all I think about at this point. Like, it is like a literal drug. And I am addicted. And then, last night we're going to get ice cream, run into one of our listeners, Tom Cerisi, and we find out like our trips are overlapping. We had a crazy discussion about the Castle course, which I'm playing, and so is he, and I'm playing it before him. And I was like, I've heard some really good things about it. He goes, but I've actually heard some bad things about it. And I told him I would withhold my opinions until he actually plays it. But I'm starting to read more about the courses, and it just gets me more excited. I can't contain my excitement. It's that close. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure I recently watched one of the No Laying Up videos. They play the Castle course. I think they do it as like a scramble. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, I think it doesn't fit with the old and the new course, right? Like it's not the same type of thing.
No,
but it's still a good golf course. Like it's gonna be. It's going to be additive to play. So yeah, check that out if you want to get a little.
Yeah, I'm starting to get into watching videos now. Yeah. I watched a video last night. We're playing a course called Crail. There's two courses there, but I watched it was just drone footage of the course we're playing, and I pump that stuff. And any course, I think they came out with one from Pine Valley last year. I think was it Golf Digest that did it?
Yeah, I think so.
Dude, I think I've watched that thing like 50 times. There's nothing like drone footage and just like letting nature do its thing, and like there's no music and just like a drone flying. It's magical, and I've started to get into that a little bit. I watched one last night, so.
Jeez. So sorry to keep asking about it, but what? So you're playing the old course, Castle course, Crail. What else?
Jubilee, which is also part of St. Andrews, and then it's called the Dukes, and that is, I want to say, what do they call it? Like a Parkland course or whatever.
Yeah,
it's not.
It's not links.
It's not links, but I've read a lot of good things about it. It's kind of one of those things like you're like, I'm going over there to play links golf, but like everybody I've talked to says you do need a day where you like play a non-links course, like get your brains beat in a few times with some crazy wins, but it is nice to kind of go off the reservation a little bit and play something that's not link style.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm a little jealous of is Tom is playing Carnoustie. We are not. The only open tee time they had when we were going over there, they have like an event happening or something, was the day we were playing the old course. And everybody kind of was like, we're playing the old course, like as much as we want to play Carnoustie. Because everything I've heard about Carnoustie is it's by far the hardest open venue. Everybody I've talked to that's played it says 18 is the hardest golf hole they've ever played in their entire life. And it doesn't matter if it's downwind, crosswind, into the wind. It's all it's hard regardless. And so I'm a little bummed about that, but I'll have to get Tom's take on Carnoustie because I've had a plus handicap that played the 1-up tees from the back, said he shot 85 and said he played really good. So he's like, there was so many times when there was like, I'd hit a shot and get into like a little bit of a situation. And my caddy was just like, he goes, you Americans always say, just try to make par. He goes, well, from here, we're just trying to make bogey. So,
right.
So the Dukes is a little bit different, but I think we've got a good mix of courses and you really can't go wrong with any of the St. Andrews courses, like whether it's Jubilee, Castle, I've heard a lot of good things about the new course. They've got some really, really good golf courses there. So,
yeah, you're right. That's all I'd be thinking about too. There's no way.
I've got to go on tonight. I've got to book our time for, they have a putting club in St. Andrews. I don't know if anybody knows that. I've got to book they tell you can just walk up, but it's better to have a time booked. So I'm doing that. I'm going to do that tonight as soon as we get done. So
yeah, that's awesome.
The Himalayas is what they call it.
Yep. Oh man. Oh, super jealous. I just want to go play regular golf at the club and let alone go overseas to Scotland. Man. All right. On to pro golf. I watched 0.0% of this tournament this weekend.
I wanted to, and I think I said, I'm like, this is a tournament I kind of just turn on and just like have in the background. I did not get a chance. I saw some highlights here and there, but didn't see much of it. I do know Andrew Novak got his payback from last week.
Yeah, Andrew Novak and Ben Griffin win the Zurich Classic 28 under. They beat the Højgaard brothers, who were 27 under. It was kind of one of those rare, you don't see this often, but like the top 5 all finished like one shot back from another. So solo second for the Højgaards, Jake Knapp and Frankie Sappen, solo third, Carl Phillips and Michael Thorbjornsen, fourth, and then Isaiah Salinda and Kevin Velo came in 5th place solo. Notables, Rory and Shane Lowry, they were the defending champions. T12, I think respectable given the history Rory accomplished and coming back to play for the first time. On the opposite side of that, Colin Morikawa missed the cut with Kurt Kitayama. Kind of weak,
Fitzpatrick brothers missed.
They missed the cut as well.
Yeah,
I didn't see that. I didn't look at a leaderboard at all until last night. Other things that happened to this, apparently there was a 2-hour power outage. There was no live TV for a minute. No, they're not sure what caused that, at least that I've seen recently. They also had a weather delay that postponed the tournament, but they were able to get it in. So maybe we didn't see it because we couldn't see it,
Yeah, man, I'm just going to chalk it up to that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Ben Griffin, if you do not know his story, you definitely need it. It's incredible. He was going to give up golf. Professionally anyway, and shout out to him, a fellow loan officer. That's what he was doing when he gave up golf, or was kind of like trying to Monday qualify and things like that. But if you don't know his story, just Google him. I'm sure there's going to be like 8 things come up. Incredible story. Was, I would say, days away from just kind of hanging it up, and Monday qualifies, and the rest is history. So really, really cool story.
Yeah, that qualifier. I think your boy Monday Q Info, Ryan French, had kind of the story on this on X.
Yeah, he released it like a couple years ago or something. and then like brought it back out when he won this week with Andrew Novak.
That Monday qualifier, he pumped his first tee ball out of bounds, but saved a bogey, and then I think he was like 7 under from then on to get through. So yeah, and it was right after his grandfather had passed away. It's like you said, it's worth a look into his story.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, no one and done for us last week with the team event, which is probably a good thing. We would have somehow found a way to not pick Andrew Novak, even though he's on the seater, and we wouldn't have won anything. So we are still sitting in 3,688th place with a mere 2.2 million to our name. Good, honest living, as we always say. CJ Cup Byron Nelson this week. TBC Craig Ranch. I think there's 2 names I like. One of them, it's in Texas. I think it might be his home course even. I think Jordan Spieth is always on the radar in Texas. But the other one, Jake Knapp. I'm kind of intrigued.
He was the one that I want to go with. I don't know. I love. It's probably because I love his golf swing. I know. I could take him at every tournament. I mean, he's not going to win every time, but I would take him at every tournament with that golf swing. But
let me take a look at what his if he's got any history here or not. Yeah, 8th place last year. Fuck it.
Well, that's why I was going to say, I was like, I think he had a top 10 last year, but
yeah, he's been a little up and down. He's got the T12 at the Players, cut at the Valspar, T27, the Texas Children's Houston Open, cut at Valero, but then 3rd last week in the team event. So, yeah, it feels like he's just kind of boomer bust. Let's take a stab at it.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm into. I'll let everyone else go down with. I think Spieth's the favorite behind Scotty or whatever. So
yeah, he is.
I'll let other people get hurt this week. Not me this time.
not us, and not this time.
Not today, devil. Jake Knapp, our official one and done pick of the week.
I still stand his girlfriend's one of the best follows on Twitter. If you can find her, dude, she is hilarious. So
yeah.
So apparently she was not in for the tournament this weekend. She flew in like Sunday morning, and it was like Sunday evening, like after they finished, had a good finish or whatever. And it was like, your girl's in New Orleans, get her an Uber. Like she was ready to have a day, and I love it. So I'm excited about rooting for him this weekend.
Yeah, I'm into. Hell, let's get him a win. This Ryder Cup team's looking sad anyway. Let's get some weirdness going on. Weirdness that we're into.
I've seen a couple golf writers like Andrew Novak entering the conversation for Bethpage, and if he keeps playing like this, it's going to be hard to keep him off the team.
I mean, yeah, if it's going to be as wide open as it seems with the names that are there, like it's going to come down to who's playing well at the right time.
And someone like I saw one of the writers like someone said that he's not a dog, and I'm like, I don't believe that.
I don't know, man. He himself said in the thing, he was like, "Man, I'm glad I had a partner because I was kind of shit in the bed and down the stretch." So he may not be.
Maybe he isn't a dog. Okay, well,
but look, I'm open to anything that keeps the likes of Brian Harmon off the team. I'm cool with.
You're in. You're like Andrew Novak or Brian Harmon. Give me Andrew Novak.
Novak, baby.
Give me the pairing of Ben Griffin and Andrew Novak over Harmon and Scam Young.
Look, I mean, they won the tournament, so clearly the highest finishing Americans in this event. So
yeah, yep.
Hey. All right, quick fan mail, real quick. Like we mentioned before, Tommy Turndogs hit us back up, and he was clarifying. So we talked about his hole-in-one last week. 2 aces in 6 months was the official. Just to let you know,
I have 0 aces in 35 years.
Yeah. So he's within a counter. You do 3 in a counter year, man. That could be pretty spicy. That's Keith Breckenridge territory.
God, that still one of the greatest hole-in-one runs that I've ever been a witness to. So
yeah, truly unfathomable. Wow. His question. So him and Pat. Shout out to Pat as well. They're planning a group golf trip for this coming fall. He wants to know what's some golf trip swag you would actually want. The more I've thought about this, because look, we've done try to do some swag here and there for the podcast and Turkey Open and stuff. I think like I'm into the towels.
Yeah.
If you can swing it, I know it's a little pricier, but I think towels are a good.
Towels. I'll tell you, the underrated thing is like a t-shirt.
Could be if you have like a good logo or like something, whatever that you're trying to put on that, or saying or whatever. It could be very simple even. But yeah, like we get that one for the wine outing every single year.
Yeah,
and it's nice. I wear them all the time.
Well, it's funny is like, not to bring up Scotland again, but people are like, oh, like what are you gonna buy when you're over there? Like I'm going for t-shirts, man. Like I'm gonna buy a polo. Like obviously I'm gonna buy a polo, right? That's gonna happen. But like the underrated flex is like a t-shirt, I think, for any kind of golf. Because like I don't know how you feel, but like there's not many times when I go out to a social setting like, oh, I'm gonna wear a polo, right? Like if you're going to like a concert or something. But like, throwing on a t-shirt, like t-shirts are I wear a lot of them too. Maybe it's just me, I don't know, but I think a t-shirt's an underrated thing.
I do think too, like polos, golf polos specifically, can be a little weird on the fit. Like you might get the duck, the penguin tail thing going in the back. Yeah,
most 99% of golf shirts don't look good untucked anyway.
That's what I mean. And like, I don't think we're old, as evidenced by the start of the show. We're not tuck the golf shirt in when we go out old just yet. Not quite there.
Not yet. Not yet. That's like trailer park classy. You know what I mean? Like tucking.
Or like you try to, I don't know. What's all right. I don't even know how to describe this. It's kind of like
you're eating dinner at 4 p.m. You know what I mean?
It's like elder frat boy.
Yeah.
That's kind of the vibe it is.
But I think so. Like t-shirts are always a good thing. Like I'm fully prepared to load up on some t-shirts, and so if I got another golf t-shirt, I'd wear it. You know what I mean? Like I think I know you can't like use it on the course, but like I think just like we play in a golf outing every year, and they have the best t-shirts. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah, I've got like almost 10 of them probably.
I was going to say, I know I have at least 5 of them, like 4 or 5 of them.
Yeah. You got to get the Canva ones or whatever they call it.
Yeah, those things rock. That's the best t-shirt.
Like I said, the towels, look, hit up
Towels are never a bad thing either.
Shoot on Instagram. My guy Kyle there, you're going to pay a little bit for him, but it's like a quality price. If you've got like a small group of guys and it's like, you want to give people something nice like that, I think that's good. You put a logo or like a phrase or the name of the event or whatever on it, and it's like just a classy, nice little touch.
Yep, I agree.
Outside of that, like we've looked at a lot of things, and pricing stuff is really hard. Like it gets expensive fast.
Yeah, like, and honestly, if you don't buy like 50 of them, it's expensive.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I mean.
It's not even like, oh, you have to buy 12 of them. No, it's like you have to buy 50 before it's not like crazy expensive. It's pretty obscene.
Yeah, then you end up with a bunch of stuff in your basement office, like I have right now.
Got a couple boxes over here too.
Yeah, so I'll be handing out plenty of back 9 6-pack ball marks this summer. If you need some ball marks, hit me up. But yeah, that's my lean on it.
Yeah,
is there anything you wouldn't want?
Divot tools are overplayed.
Yeah, I think unless you're going real nice with them, don't.
Yeah, divot tools are overplayed. Logo golf balls, absolutely. I don't think that's the way to go. I would definitely not want one of those.
I'm not a poker chip guy, so like just.
And I'm not a poker chip guy. I don't like marking my balls with a sewer lid. And then I just don't have anywhere to like display those, right? So it's not like you can like, oh, I collect poker chips. Like I've got this like nice display of them. I don't even have that, so I can't do that. So like poker chip, logo golf ball, divot tool. Kind of out on.
Yeah. I don't know. Hopefully we answered your question there, Tom, but I gave you some options. But hey, if anyone else out there has stuff, let us know, because look, we're always trying to get a gauge on what people want for stuff that we run. Oh, one other thing, stickers aren't really that expensive. I thought the Turkey Open stickers turned out really good this year. If you have like a good logo or something you want to put on a sticker, I think that's a fantastic option. People put them on their laptops, on their coolers, water bottles. I think that's a good play too. Cool. With that, I think we're heading to the patio. Like I said, I told you before the show, I'm gonna drink a gazillion beers Sunday after this race. Like There's no beer is safe Sunday after I finish
I
this
love
race.
it. That's got to be the best part of running a half marathon.
Oh, God, dude. I think we're gonna. It looks like the weather's gonna hold up. We're gonna do a little grill out back at the house.
Oh yeah, heck yeah.
I'm just gonna be vibing to the moon. Might even go to Mars. I don't know. I'll go first here. With this,
okay.
If you've been on the internet at all in the last 24 hours, you know a question I'm about to ask you because it's been on every podcast and every social media channel everywhere. Do you think 100 humans could take down a silverback gorilla?
I don't know, man. Look, like I've heard this so many times. Like, you ever heard that's like you just don't fight the crazy person? Like, never fight it doesn't matter how small they are. Like, you just never fight the crazy person, right? Like the craziest guy in the room, never fight them. It doesn't matter if you're 6'4" and they're 5'5", 130 pounds. You just never fight them. I feel like that's how this goes, right? The silverback gorilla is the crazy person in the room. So I wouldn't put anything past them to like just beat the shit out of 100 people.
Yeah, dude, I'm with you.
If we're talking no weapons, that
right.
The silverback gorilla is probably winning that match.
Yeah, couple things. Like Mike Tyson always said that, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Like, to me, that's what describes this thing. Even if you were the most coordinated 100 group of people and you had some pretty good, strong people in that group, I think the second the first person just gets absolutely like detonated by this gorilla, changes the entire vibe of the situation.
Oh, it would change the mentality.
Yeah,
the other 98 for sure. Like, it would probably change the plan a little bit, right? Like, if you see two guys get just destroyed,
quite literally
destroyed. I think people would start to freak out a little bit.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I think any plan goes out the window. Like I said,
it's like the jail mentality, right? Like, it's like you go in and you try to fight the biggest guy first, right? But like, if you beat the shit out of the biggest guy, it changes people's mentality towards you a little bit. And I think that's what would happen. Like, I think the first 2 or 3 people would just get annihilated, and like the strongest, best fighters, it would put a little fear in them.
Oh, undoubtedly. Yeah. And this, if you haven't seen this anywhere on social media, go seek it out, because they're some of the memes and the gifs and the replies and stuff to this thing is. It's a good internet moment. All right.
I saw someone run, like, I don't even know what kind of simulation it was, but it was like a gorilla and like these like stick figures, and like it was pounding them like 20 feet away. Like, dude, it was kind of funny. I don't know. I mean, if we're talking about strategy, like literal strategy, if you were going to do this, you would literally just have to mob it. Like, if you could get it on the ground with like 10, 12 people, and people just start really pouncing on them and taking shots, like that's your only shot. If you're trying to bring like 2 or 3 on at a time, that is just not going to work.
Yeah, I just don't think you could get enough people to equal the strength of it to get it down like all at one time. Like, it's like you can't get that volume of people on.
And it's not like it's a tall animal, right? So like, there's not a lot of leverage there. It sits low to the ground. So like, getting it on the ground, but if you could get it on the ground, hypothetically, you would have a chance. Like, you would have, like, if you could people could start pounding on it, and you could keep it on the ground, you would have a chance. But getting it to the ground seems almost impossible.
Yeah, but for sure. We're aligned here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Last thing we need to say is shout out Harambe, of course.
Yeah. R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Oh, all right. So we were having dinner last night, and this conversation came up of like going to prison and things like that. And, I was like, I'm not built for prison, and I don't think many people are, but I don't think anybody is. But regardless, what is like the minimum, like, so 5 years in prison, what's the minimum amount of money that you would take to go to prison for 5 years? Now you get to come out and have it, right? Like we were saying, like if you committed a crime and like maybe you made like 100 million, but like you could only get your hands on like 20 of it after you got out. What is like the minimum amount of money you would take for 5 years in prison?
God, dude, I almost say there's like no like.
Not the max, like, because it's easy to be like, I'd take $1 billion, I'll go to jail for 5 years.
Yeah.
That, like, the minimum amount.
That's what I'm saying, though. Those two things might be the same. Like, I just 5 years in prison. That's a long time.
That's a long time.
Yeah, like that's you walk in now and you're in your 40s coming out. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's a long time.
You've got a 7-year-old kid. They're 12 when you come out. Like
you're missing some things. Yeah.
That's why I think it's. If I just take that part out that says I don't want to ever go to prison and I have to answer this question, man, like what I'm trying to think, like what, because you could get by. Like if someone gave you $1 million today, that'd change your life and you'd probably be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to cover the pain of the 5 years of prison, like what is the threshold for that? It's probably like 50 million. Like I gotta like I gotta be set.
I said it'd have to be 10 or 15 mil a year to
that's
like
what I'm saying. Yeah.
And you're coming out with like 50 to 75, and it's like, look, you can come out and never do a single thing the rest of your life.
Yeah, and then like your kids are set, and like it's like generational type wealth.
I think if you get above 50, that becomes generational wealth, and it's like, okay, not only are your kids fine, but like your grandkids are going to be fine, assuming you invest it wisely and things like that. I think I said 10 to 15 a year.
Yeah.
15 million a year would be like, if you're getting your ass kicked in a jail fight, like you just feel like, look, I'm getting paid $15 million to be here. Like I can take this beating, right? Like it makes it a little more palatable to get your ass kicked in jail at $15 million a year.
Yeah, it would definitely for sure all suck.
I don't know if I'd do it less than 10. I know that doesn't sound like but someone was like 5 and you're like coming out with 25, that just doesn't seem like enough. It just doesn't.
Yeah, there's something about that double digit a year threshold that feels very real to me.
Yes. Yeah. But the like anything less than 10 just doesn't feel like nearly enough to go to prison for 5 years.
No, not at all.
Like, but if you lowered it to a year, I'd be like, give me 7. Like you give me 7 for 1 year, I'd do it. Maybe even 5 for one. Like 1 year is like
1 year seems so much less than 5 years. I mean, I know obviously it is, but like 1 year almost feels like, I don't want to say it's nothing, but it almost feels like nothing compared.
No, but like again, if you're like, okay, this is going to be the longest year of my life, but I'm going to make more money than I ever have in 1 year.
Exactly.
Like, that's why it's like, you know what? I'd take 5 to go to jail for a year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know why that seems so. I mean,
I know it changes your mentality a little bit. Like you're like, okay, yeah, is it going to suck to miss a year of my kid's life? Obviously, but it seems a little more palatable because it's like, okay, I have a 3-year-old. They're only going to be 4 when I come out, right? Like, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So, unless you were missing like a high school graduation or something, that would kind of suck. Maybe that raises the price a little bit. But I think if you're like, look, it's much more palatable to do a year at 5 than like.
I think it's the fact of like you're not the second day you're no longer counting years, you're counting months or days, right? Or weeks or whatever.
Exactly. If you're in there for 5, like you're like, oh my God, I got 4 years, 364 days.
That's so much more brutal than like, okay, I've got, 11 months or, whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's just so different.
Yeah. So I think 5 for like a year in prison would be like 5.
Yeah. I think I agree with you.
Because you could come and here's how I think of it. Because like if you had $5 million, like you can come out like you can take the next year or 2 and just like kind of relax, like after spending a year in prison, and like you're not gonna have to work a job or anything like that. You can probably do some traveling. That's why I'm like, it's just the year for 5. I know I said I wouldn't do a year, 1 year for less than 5 for 5 years, but I think Yeah, when you're talking like you're counting days and months rather than like years and days, right? When you get in, that makes it a little more easy to stomach, I guess.
Yeah, it sounds like we've discovered that jail time like functions in exponential time, not just like linear time.
Well, and the whole conversation came up. It was like if you were going to commit a crime to make money, like there's got to be a threshold of like, look, if I'm not going to make 50 mil on this, and like I know that like if I do this, it could get me up to 10 years in jail.
Yeah,
like it's got to be worth the squeeze, right? And they all came from like we read about like this guy that was like selling weed in a state that's it's legalized in, and it's like, dude, you're facing like 5 years in prison. And you're like, there's no money in that as soon as weed's legalized. So the market's not very big. So I'm like, dude, that juice is not worth the squeeze. No.
Yeah, no, you 100%.
Like it would have to be like Breaking Bad money to be like, okay, like I'm willing to go to jail for 5-10 years for 10, 15 years, 15 million a year.
I better be Scrooge freaking McDuck diving into my pile of gold if I'm risking that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
Oh man. Whew. A couple good questions though, the human experiment on the back 9 6-pack.
Human psychology is amazing sometimes.
It's wild. Oh man. All right. Well, tidy little episode tonight. That's good. We need some of these to get the energy back. I think next week is like we're back into another major on tap and signature events and stuff. So bigger golf weeks ahead. We'll be back after having on the eve of league next week. You'll be closer to Scotland. Everything's happening. May is here.
Gosh, it felt like a long time to get here, but
it's been a long journey. But we're officially here, everybody. So just take in the sunshine and enjoy it. If you are here, please smash the like button, subscribe, rate, and review the show. Follow us on social media at Back96Pack. And of course, always fan mail link down in the show description. Send us a message. We'd love to hear from you. So until next time, cheers.
See ya. Thank you for listening to another episode of the Back 9 6-Pack. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Back 9 6-Pack for all your content needs. We'll see you guys next week. Cheers.